Imagine being displaced because of a flood where you, your mom, your entire family have to live in hotel rooms, not knowing when you're going to go back to the house and what you're going to go back to. That's what happened in May of 2012 with my man, Jeron Dotson. This is a flood that came in that was unprecedented, hadn't been seen in decades. And what birthed from that interaction to where we are right now is the reason why not only are you a guest on this podcast, but you're my friend. Welcome to the Working Class Podcast. My guest, my brother, Jeron Dotson. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate it. Oh, it's always a pleasure.
What happened before you had to evacuate your house, and explain the family dynamics of how you and your brothers and your mom have done so much? It's going to blow your mind, readers and listeners. It's going to blow your mind. Tell us your story.
Oh, man. Story or journey. So it's dynamic, to say the least. If we could take it back to when I first met you, my mom, she has a long history in foster care. She's an African-American woman, of course, and she's most notably known for being one of the first in Michigan to adopt a Caucasian child, my sister Stacy.
Yeah.
So fast.
What year was that?
So this had to be 97, 95. I was a child. All the thing I remember is all the flashing lights and things coming out of the Michigan Supreme Court, and all those things were foreign to me at that time. And I'm like, what is really going on?
Just because an African-American foster mom was adopting and fostering a white girl.
Yes.
It became news.
It did.
Your mom is a pioneer.
Thank you. And I tell her that all the time. You know, of course, this mom want to glow her head up. But yes, initially she wanted to adopt Sarah, who was biracial. Stacy is fully Caucasian. So as soon as she said she didn't want to split the sisters up because love is colorblind, the state government said, hold up a minute, came up with a bunch of different prerequisites and things that never were asked for before, and kind of started setting the goalpost. And so once my mom started catching on, like, this has nothing to do with my economic background, my spiritual background. There's something more to it. And then once we got
it was race.
That was the elephant in the room no one wanted to talk about. Yeah. And then once she had everything
broke that barrier, smashed it.
She did.
Yeah.
And so it was a double-edged sword because she almost had to earn it, as backwards as it sounds. You would think there would be incentives to get more African-American women or well-qualified people in general to get into the system. But a lot of times they're demonized. They're put under a microscope, almost as if they cause kids harm or, you know.
And we're not talking the 1950s,
no.
1960s. We're talking the 1990s.
The 90s, yeah. And so and at this time, we were living in Beecher, Michigan.
Beecher Bucks.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And so I initially started in Kurtz, went to Harrow, things of that nature.
Yeah.
But fast forward, amongst that, she, as part of the jury or the judgment, she's like, hey, well, I live in Beecher, but I got my sights set on Grand Blanc. Mm-hmm. And so they kind of looked at that and was like, okay, we might be able to work with that. Unfortunately, another thing. Mm-hmm. So in the midst of that, 98, 99, we moved to Grand Blanc, changed our culture completely in our family, the neighborhood. We were looked at as foreigners, literally, because at that time, you came from Ottawa Hills and Grand Blanc.
Right on, yeah, mixed neighborhood.
Yeah,
that's where I get my soul.
See, if people don't understand that, unless you were from Genesee County and you went to Grand Blanc High School, you understand. Right. That's one of the blackest neighborhoods in the city for sure.
I'm telling you, right. Chris Keys, if you're out there, Malik Wilson, he's the first guy that ever told me about Jerry curls.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, my best friend to this day is from Ottawa Hills.
See who? Where?
Brandon Weathersby.
Okay, I don't know him.
You came across them once last Veterans Day. He was just in the video with camera recorded. So.
Oh yeah. At the Fenton 4th of July parade.
Yes, he did.
That's right.
He did.
He's from Ottawa Hills.
Yes, he is.
Wow.
And it's crazy because his family had to get the place. Unfortunately, there was his father had passed early on in our life. And his brother actually worked, grinding back up, came back, and now he owns a house in that same neighborhood.
Yeah, man, that's a great neighborhood, man. I grew up there until I got married.
Yeah.
That's right.
So family, we live in Grand Blanc at this time. So fast forward 2012, like you were saying. So my mom is known in the neighborhood.
Now explain how many people are in your family. Blood relatives. Now where your dad, explain that quick dynamic.
For sure. So my dad is, he's passed now. Mm-hmm. But he was an older gentleman, retired from General Motors, Air Force veteran, things of that nature. But the nucleus of our family was our mom.
That's right.
Honestly, I was a lot closer to my mom.
Shout out to Regina Bush.
Yeah, exactly. So my dad, he was out there, and we grew closer together later in my life and in his life, of course. But my mom was always there, and she kept all the kids together. She was mostly a single mom. She raised us by herself. But she had 3 biological, me and my 2 older sisters.
Mm-hmm.
At that time had adopted 5, but now she's back in the foster care, and now it's closer to 10 or 11 kids that she's adopted altogether now, for sure.
And so to 1990, she got into the adoption world or foster. Did she foster first and then adopt?
Yes, she did. She got into no, let me take that back. Originally she got straight into adoption.
Okay.
And that was for my sister Sarah.
Right.
And then it was for Stacy.
Yeah.
And then later on, she considered going into the foster care, and was like, I can't do temporary placement. I get too emotionally tied. And so that's where my other sister and brother came in, Sandria and Tony Bush. And then years later, after we've all graduated and things of that nature, she got back in about 2018 or so. There was a child, I won't say his name because, but he had got put into Hurley Hospital, just negligent parents, violent past. My mom, she got wind of it through the system or through a third party, I should say, which is Ennis. And so they gave her the story, and she was like, I got to step in. And a lot of times what is supposed to be just emergency placement turns into weeks and weeks and months. And then sometimes it's like, hey, we're looking for permanency. And so that was her story, kind of leading her back into foster care, but now into adoption. Yeah. So she went back into foster care, but once she started seeing the need and the different kids come, white, black, biracial, she's like, okay, I can't. My mom, she always said I want to get in there and get the temporary help, but she's always there. And it's okay, I'm here. I'm in her life, 18 plus, I'm here. And so
that's it. She is a ride and die mom.
Yes, she is.
I find it compelling that when you talk about your sister, I can see it in your eyes. Regardless if she doesn't look like you or have the same DNA, you consider her your sister.
For sure.
How did you bridge that gap? When you introduce yourself, what do people say in return?
Oh, so my sister Stacy, man, you got to meet her, first of all. So she's actually a teacher out in Lansing now. So we went through a lot. So coming from Beecher to Grand Blanc, we had instances where we would get in a car. I think we were leaving Big Boy. Somebody went up to her and said, hey, hey, little girl, you're getting into the wrong car. Mind you, it's me, my brother Justin, my sister Sarah, and my mom was leaving out. She was in the bathroom, and she's like, you can let go of me. This is my family. My mom came out, like, what's going on? And they're like, oh, we are so sorry. Our apologies. But it was little things like that. But what in Beecher, the crazy part is that she would be the first to step up. People would ask her.
And that's primarily all a black neighborhood.
Yeah,
all of Beecher, like 90+%, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
Beecher, Mount Morris area.
Right.
And they would ask her at that time whether you were black or white, and she would tell them black, just off of premise. I made a joke earlier about the blue magic.
Right.
She was a white girl. She would put blue magic in her hair at the time in jail, and my mom had to say, like, Stacy, you're one of us, as far as just genetics,
right,
water,
right.
shampoo, a little oil. But it was things of that nature where she had to realize it was a culture thing.
How old was she when she got adopted by Regina?
Man. I don't want to paraphrase, but I think she was like 9, 10, 11,
okay.
something like that.
Wow.
Because I had to be 5 or 6 at the time.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So you grew up, obviously your 2 sisters and you had to be bought in, but you were kind of bought in because your mom was loved so much that if mom's going to be behind it, you're behind it. There was never a family controversy about new kids coming in, was there?
Yes, yeah, most definitely. So my older sisters, my biological sisters, what I call them, so my older sisters, and when she came in, and mind you, we're at this time, they're from the north side of Flint. My mom had moved to Beecher. First, she lived on the north side. So, they're used to what they're seeing, and they're like, who is this girl coming in this house? You know? When they first seen her, they thought it was temporary. It was like, okay, mom is doing this thing. Yeah. But she literally had to phase in. It was like, okay, there's a foreigner here we don't know. We just had different ways of doing things. When it was time to pray, we prayed differently. It was a bunch of things that people, I guess, don't really...
You don't even think of.
Yeah. And so it was the diet. We ate differently, the way we prayed. Just a lot of things, the way we showed love to each other, because we weren't a very touchy-feely family. It's just not too common, unfortunately. So we had to learn, like, okay, it's okay to, like, high five and give side hugs and things of that nature. So it was like we had to learn from each other. And then eventually her and my older sister were butt heads. And then it was like, one of the things, she's one of us. Like, we can get into it. I could talk about her, but that's not for you to come and talk about. And so now my sisters were like, their bond, they wanted the same.
It took time.
It did. Yeah. Time and vulnerability for sure.
Wow. But your mom was there leading the example the whole way through. This is what we're going to do. This is the tone of the family.
Yeah, for sure. And it was, she just straight up said, like, hey, this is your sister. Whether I'm here or gone, my time here is temporary. This is your family. This is what you got. And so, and then it just stuck with us. We get older and we lose people and we're like, red, black, blue, indifferent, it's still our sister.
Fast forward, May of 2012.
Yes.
How many are in the family right now living in Grand Blanc?
So during the flood time.
Yes.
So at this time, God, it was me, my sister Sandria, my brother Tony, my mom, and then she was in the midst. She had one other foster care. So it was about 4 or 5 of us.
Got it.
She had one other foster child.
Yeah.
And we don't live in flood zones in Grand Blanc, in that particular area. So at this time, we had a separate incident. There were raccoons in our attic.
Yep.
And they took home upstairs, started urinating, doing everything in there. And so we started seeing the excrement and stuff through the ceiling. And literally at that same time is when the flood happened. So it was like they were migrating in, so was the weather. And so that's when the flood came. We went to our basement. The water was up to our knees. My mom's calling the insurance company like, hey, I know I got coverage. And they're like, no, technically you don't. You don't live in flood area. It's not covered. And so that's when we're like, what do we do? At the time, she has the kids. She has me. She has the other foster kids. And so we're like.
You were in high school at the time.
I was in high school I was just on the edge of graduating and coming out and going to U of Flint. And then, so we got put in, luckily, Southern Baptist Relief, I want to say, is hopefully they're still out there. I haven't had contact with them in nearly a decade.
Wow.
But they were a Baptist group who heard of the story. And so they came in with the HVAC and everything, started getting the water out, helping us peel the walls down. And then in the midst of that, somehow, you heard of our story. I don't know where you came in on it. Somehow we were able to get into the hotel via the insurance claim from the raccoons. And our story got to you somehow. And you know how it got to you. I'm not absolutely sure, but I remember I was at the hotel. I was doing my work, and I'm just like, okay, I don't have a house. I'm doing homework. At the time, I was defeated. And my mom was like, we got this guy coming. He's like, some undersheriff or something. And at the time, I'm like, okay, whatever that is. And then you come, you bring your wife, Jamie, and you bring both of your sons. Pizza, some breadsticks from Great Harvest.
That's right.
A bunch of silk almond milk and granola bars. I'm like, what is this? You're like, yeah, I remember you sitting there. And then you were sitting there and you were looking like, wow, because all of us were in the hotel room at the time.
Packed in there.
Yeah, and you were like, I'm going to help. And we're like, my mom was like, no, she's always like that. She's like, no, we'll figure out we're good. And you're like, nah, you've done a lot for society. You've given a lot. Just take the time and let somebody do something for you. And then that's when you were like, I'm going to reach out to my connection over at Great Harvest and we're going to do a drive for you.
That's right.
And I'm like, wow, I'm taking it all in. Like, you sure he's a cop? And so doing all that. And then before you left, you get the pizza and everything. And then you're like, you bring out your wallet and you're like, I'm going to look out for this family. He's like, something told me to come up here and meet you guys. Then you take out a Chris $100 bill. My mom was like, no, I don't need your money. You're good. And you're like, no, I'm not taking no for answer. Get some food, get something to eat. And she just wouldn't take it. And you were like, okay, here. You're like, okay, you asked the kids they want to get it. She's like, okay, I'll get it. But she took it. I remember you left, and I was like, what? And she was like, he the second in command. I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, he's gonna be ahead and watch one day. He's gonna be in charge one day. You watch. And I'm like, not knowing the hierarchy or the structure of how law enforcement works. And I'm like, wow. After I learned, I'm like, wow, he really is second in command. He really is, for our area, one of the top authorities. And it was cool that we were able to see the humanitarian side. And after that changed my whole point of view. Yeah. With Genesee County powers that be in general right there. Yeah, police, most definitely police.
White police?
Yeah, oh yeah, because we had some of our family was like my mom did Maxie Boys Training School. Right. Kind of like my godfather was in City of Flint Police. But we've never had personal interactions, like intimate interactions with Caucasian police. So it was cool to be like, okay, this is not all they are. They're human. Yeah. And at the end of the day, you're trying to get home, do your job, and make it home too. And coming to the hotel that day and just showing humanity, it was like, okay, I want to get involved. Yeah. Like not only was it just on that level, I was like, okay, I want to get involved business. I want to get involved system wise, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm in the game. If this is what you can do with real resource and authority, and you can help people, that's what I want to get into.
Yeah. And fast forward all these years later, you're in uniform now.
Yes, I am. A proud reserve deputy.
There you go.
Yeah.
For Genesee County.
Yes, I am.
I got to tell you, I've always said that good people find good people. And if you want to do something good for people, then you got to be on the lookout. And you have to keep a weathered eye and a listening ear for a need. And I've always let my gut and my instinct lead me as to what's going to help. And, when the Spirit puts something inside of you, like help these people, you can't not follow through because there's a draw to it.
Exactly.
And the more the challenge or the bigger the hill, it drives me. I mean, those two boys that I brought, we've traveled the world helping third world countries. I take them on mission trips since they were 15 all the way up to COVID. Okay. And we've been in the harshest of environments because I wanted us to feel poverty. I wanted us to feel pain and to see into people's eyes what real struggle looks like, and then come back to America and appreciate what we have. And so I will tell you that how I found out about your story is because someone told me, and what caught my attention was you had a single mom that's raising kids, and some are foster kids, adopted kids, and they're living in a hotel room. And again, that is the start of this relationship. But what I have found is that you have invested in me more than I could ever invest in you and your family because of who you are, who your mom is, and the fact that your mom is now been a friend of my brother's kids, and you've come to our family events. Like, we have truly become family over the last 13 years from one moment where that urge to help has pushed me to knock on that door. But I say that you also had to open your hearts to allow me in.
Sure did.
And that's the part of unity that, you have seen as a black business owner, somebody who raised up in the North End, Beecher. If you know anything about Flint, those are the two harshest environments to be raised in, is the North End of Flint and in Bucktown. And then you go to Grand Blanc, which is completely different.
Way different, for sure.
How did you keep such a good attitude?
It's like you said, being able to be exposed to what else is out there. It wasn't until we came to Grand Blanc that I was able to realize almost the discrepancy of, or I say the difference in poverty levels and income levels and what it actually means, like, directly. And we went from Beecher to Grand Blanc, and it's like out there, everyone is looked at evenly. It's like, okay, that person may or may not have something, more times than not, they don't.
Yeah, everybody's struggling.
And we come to Grand Blanc, and it's like clearly a haves and haves not. And then not only that, we were some of the first blacks in our neighborhood, Wishingwell subdivision.
Yeah.
And so it was like, okay, we're here where a lot of people are trying to make it to, but at that time, it was like, okay, people were looking at us like, where did they come from? Literally, the neighbors to the left and right of my mom moved.
Because of you guys.
Yep. One of them even moved around the corner.
What does that do to your heart when you know that that's the reason why? What does that do to your family? How do you get through that?
It used to be, we thought it was us. And we thought that maybe it's because she was a black woman with white foster kids. Maybe she had too many kids in general. But once we got in and she would pay her bills, pay her taxes like anything else, and we didn't cause any disturbance, and they still moved, we figured it wasn't us, that maybe it was something that lies within them, maybe a certain hate. Or maybe they believed that, hey, through redlining or whatnot, if I stay longer, if I stay next to these African Americans, the value of my house will go down. Whatever it was, we were like, we're home now. And the crazy part is all our family from Flint and Beecher, they came to our mom's house, and it was like they made it. It was like, wow.
Wow.
And my mom's house is 3-bedroom, middle-class house.
Yeah.
But it's just the difference in going from there. And it was like, okay, this is it. As a kid, I'm like, so the goal is to get older, buy a house in a neighborhood that they may or may not want me in. And so as time progressed, now we have, again, closer to a mixed neighborhood like Ottawa Hills and things of that nature.
And your neighbors love you guys.
They do.
Yeah.
But I think it was more of like an exposure thing.
Yeah.
Where we, not only us, but the neighbors, the ones who could afford to move, seemingly they got out. But the ones who couldn't, they said, hey, they're here, they're American. They're not messing my things up. They're on their property. And those people that stayed, they were still around today. I mean, a lot of them, they're older now, and
Right.
some are passing. But the neighbors, the core neighbors, the people we say too high every day, the cutting their grass, GM retirees, they're still there.
And it's
so,
a family.
It is.
Is redlining real?
Oh, for sure. Whether it's business, mortgage rates, just
Explain.
credit in general. So,
Explain.
In our instance with small business, being African American, a lot of times we don't have a line of credit. We're not given collateral so that we could be able to use things to get leverage with a bank. And so we're put under even more scrutiny when it comes to mortgages or business loans. And it was even more so back in the day when it was almost legalized to discriminate. And so, and if you look at, in my personal experience, moving to Grand Blanc and people physically moving out of their houses, I feel like back when there was almost a green pass to do so administratively, that it was just looked at as just part of the game. Mm-hmm. But I think once people's scrutiny started coming, people started scrutinizing it. African Americans, other minorities started finding different occupation and gaining more money. Mm-hmm. That people started to notice a trend that, okay, for some reason, I don't qualify for the same exact things that my white counterpart or my other counterpart does. And so I would like to think that things are trending differently, but I would say in the small business world, and even in general, they just did a study with the Brookings Institute in Michigan, and it's like for every $15 we have in an African American household, they have 115 in a traditional Caucasian household.
How do you fix that?
And it starts by opportunity. It does. It starts by prime opportunity and responsibility, because, and I won't lie, a lot funding.
Yeah.
But it's strategic funding. It's not throwing money at the issue. It's more of getting in the roots. And I commend you for doing that. It's about getting in the roots and letting people empower themselves.
Right.
And not having a bunch of red tape, a bunch of bureaucracy. When it comes to funding of that nature, work with the entities of that area and try to make it easier for the people and the entities to get those resources, to get that funding, and take a chance.
Yeah.
Take a chance with the small business owners, take a chance with the families in the house that just want to get their roof redone.
Right.
Because we look at corporations and we have them out subsidies left and right. But I think it's going to come down to opportunity, providing opportunities, whether it's through skilled trades or just entrepreneurship in general on the lower level, and taking the money that's already out there, that's allocated through entities like MEDC, say, hey, we want to find innovative ways,
right?
Like with Ignite and things of that nature, to either help corridors or cities like Flint. We want to take this money, we want to make it easier for families or small business owners to invest, or we want to make it a way to, how can we make it easier? If we can't directly, how can we make it easier for them or cheaper for them to do business or have an opportunity?
So you mentioned early in the show that love has no color.
Mm-hmm.
Opportunity should have no color either.
Correct.
And you took advantage of an opportunity and you became responsible. I was there to see it go from idea to implementation to how many years you've been in business. Tell us about
You sure did.
your journey, because people took a chance on you because of your background. One of them was our friend Dan Kildee.
Yep.
And tell that journey.
Wow. So actually, after I met you, after 2012, I started interning with Dan Kildee in 2017.
He's a former U.S. representative for the 8th District out of the state of Michigan. Yeah, Congressman Dan Kildee, who's retired now, yes, from Flint.
Yeah, one of my father-in-law would call him a blue dog Democrat. He's
Got
like,
it.
We need more of them. I respect Chris, and now in Livingston County. So
I hear you.
And so, but I started interning for Dan Kildee in 2017. And I never forget one day, Jake.
Of course.
Jake. And I was on lunch break, and I was talking to my fiance, Erica, and I had the phone up, and I'm just talking to her, and then you walk in, like, whoa, man, okay, big shot. I'm like, what?
You made it. Yeah, that's right.
A free intern. I was like, oh, snap, this is Chris. I'm like, hey, I call you back. I put the phone down. I'm like, I'm not doing anything. Then you go in there and talk to Jake.
That's right.
It's like, tell him you're a movie star. I'm like, no, it's like your mom's a movie star. And then, because at that time, the Canadian people, they wanted to do a film on my mom.
Right.
And then I'm like, I'm not. And I told Jake, like, you're famous. I'm like, dude, I'm just an intern. But
That's great.
Yeah, and so it was like these different times where we just kept meeting as both of us kind of grew up our own personal ladders. And then you looked at me like, man, I'm going to keep running into you. We're going to keep crossing paths. And then about 6 months after that is when I started working at Secretary of State, downtown city of Flint.
That's right.
And we don't make law enforcement way. We usually don't, especially in uniform. But so we're like, Chris coming in and everybody knows you. Like, I got him. Come right to the front, pink pass. We don't do that anymore for anybody that no more pink passes. But
right.
And then after that, 2017, 2018, and I started seeing you daily at the Secretary of State or monthly.
And you had already gotten through your bachelor's program.
Yes.
At Michigan.
So I want to touch on that. It wasn't a straight. It wasn't a straight journey at all. I graduated 2010, went to school just like everybody else, 2011, 2012. Student loans. Get the student loans, max them out. Whoop, whoop. Then you look up like, man, I spent my student loans. I don't have a job, and it's like, man, I'm in school. What am I doing? And I got uninspired. And so I dropped out. Luckily, my grades were good. I had 2.0. But I was like, I have to figure it out. At this point, really, I wanted some money in my pocket, just to be honest.
That's right.
And I'm like, either A, I wish I could go to General Motors. I wish it was back in the day. If I could, I would go make some quick money on the line. And I was like, you know what? I would just start doing temp agency and things of that nature. So I started working with fiberglass out in Howe and Magna and Burgerflex and Flint, Michigan. I've done it all. I was
hard work.
Yeah, GISD. I was custodian, cleaning up, and it just took all of that to understand. Like, okay, because I went to school for international business. I guess I should to add that, and my minor was in Mandarin Chinese. And I thought that I would have had to move out of Michigan to create something. I thought I had to get as far away from Flint as I could to make something of myself. And like you said, it wasn't until I left, got out the country, and I'll touch back on that I'm like, okay, I can come back to Michigan. I can come back to Flint. I can make something happen.
That's right.
But rewind, back to 2018 is when you came into the Secretary of State. You were actually in the car. Sheriff Pakel came in. And this is like 2018, 2019. And I was like, oh, yeah, you're Sheriff Pakel. I was like, yeah. I was like, you were Chris? He was like, he's in the car. Like, tell him I said, hey. He's like, all right. And he was like, he's going to be sheriff here soon. I'm like, what? I'm like, yeah. Just keep your eye on him. I'm like, okay. I guess I don't know if he went and told you in the car or not.
Oh yeah, I remember where I was parked.
Yeah, and then not even 6 or months later, he announced that he was resigning. And next thing I know, it was like, hey, Chris Undersheriff running. I'm like, wow, it was like, how God and the universe set things up. Right. It was just crazy. And then
that's right.
And to flesh that out. So I was working at the Secretary of State.
By the way, the sheriff's predicted one more move, so we're going to make that happen too.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
We got one more move to make.
we on our way.
That's right.
Yeah.
And
I believe you're meant for a job. That's my opinion.
There you
but
go.
I'm going to tell you that
Thank
for a minute. Yeah, because
Thank you.
You got a real rounded understanding of a lot that's going on.
Thank you, brother. And so you did some international work too?
Yeah, so I went overseas to study for school.
Where'd you go?
I went to Taiwan. If that was my dream, and that actually still is my dream, I'd love to represent Michigan, expand trade boundaries and relations because of all the attention we got going in the Asia Pacific region.
Sure.
So I went over there, I fell in love with it. I'm like, man, if we could increase trade, and then we got a lot going on with the semiconductors, things of that nature. But it was cool to go over there and just talk. We were able to just mention things about culture exchange, business. So yeah, it literally changed my life. Went over there,
and you spoke a foreign language. That's where you perfected your foreign language.
Yeah, I would say I'm a good 7 out of 10.
I got it.
When I go there, they're like, "Oh my God, you live there." If I'm talking to people, if I'm like in California, things and talking to Uber drivers and stuff, they're like, "Oh my God, you live there." We live like, man. I'm like, no, I just love the language and the culture.
Right.
And, I just want to expose more.
Everybody listening wants to hear it.
What,
so speak it.
Ni hao, wo xing dong, wo zhao dong zhi. Yeah. So that's just that's my name. My Chinese name is Dong Zhi. Or it's the last name first. So it's like Dotson Jeron.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
And then if I was to ask you your name, you would say like Niji Shenma. Yeah, that's like, what is your name? Niji Shenma, or your last name.
Oh, right on, man.
Yeah. And so,
is that where you got your inspiration to come back with your business idea?
Yes, it was crazy how the God, such the universe works everything out. In my opinion, no shade to anyone, but who don't believe in a creator.
Yeah,
but
I'm
I
good,
feel like
man. Yeah.
the universe definitely works on an energetic level and in vibrations. And it was just one of them things where everything was lining up. COVID was kind of on the horizon. I didn't know. 2019, I was at Secretary of State, and they were in the midst of doing layoffs. And so I'm like, okay, either try to find full-time somewhere that's not in the city, or finish school up, hop into your business and just go for a throttle. And it was like right there, 2019, I was like, okay, forget it. I got to go. It's time for me to go finish my degree. So I went over to Taiwan and studied for a semester. That kind of led me into kind of just working out my tenure at Secretary of State. And then as soon as I came here, we went to the Poke Bowl, started doing pop-up shops. We got the bowl into like local grocer, Oliver T's in Grand Blanc, Michigan. And then we were grinding until we got the attention of Genesee County Habitat for Humanity.
Yep.
And then that's when they wanted to rebuild or rehabilitate the University Avenue corridor. And that's, for those who are not familiar, it's a corridor that connects Kettering University, University of Michigan, Flint, and Mott. And it's almost like a traffic corridor for all the students to kind of, at least it's turning into a corridor thanks to Operation Arrowhead, where students can come, mingle, enjoy kind of like the fraternity, sorority life, but be able to get safely back to campus. And so they were trying to figure out ways they could expand and build that corridor out. And it was like, we want to add health options because they got the state park coming right there in 2026. Right. So between Flint Soup, who is a micro grant company, nonprofit, and they work with entrepreneurs, they hear ideas, and then you pitch your idea, and then the winner takes the soup cup home full of money that the crowd puts money in. And so they said, hey, you guys, they came to us because we had already
You and
met
your
them.
brother.
Yeah, that's a whole nother journey. I was working with my sister-in-law, Kenyatta, at Church Without Walls. And so I came back 2017, that same year, me and my brother went to California to shoot a music video because we wanted to do a Motown in Flint. That was our dream. We got it. And so we went out there because when our friends moved from Beecher to Los Angeles, and so he's plugged in out there, and like his family, his friends are Eddie Murphy and Def Jam and all these other things. So he's like, you guys should come out here, shoot a groundbreaking music video, take it back to Flint, shut the city down, But we ended up getting hustled out of the music video.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just a different culture out there, man. It was
how much they get from you?
$500, and it was supposed to be $1,000, but he was so happy to get that $500. I told my brother,
you got played.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, you're not gonna get the other half. He's like, no, yeah, that's just how they do things. I'm like, that's how he does things. And but the beauty in it was like when we were like, my brother was crashing out.
Yeah.
It was our last day there. We were only there 3 days, and he was like, man, well, I at least want to try the freshest seafood I ever had. Because coming from Flint, most people don't make it out, let alone out of the state. Let alone like 5,000 miles east or west. So
most people don't make it out of big cities that are always facing obstacles.
Exactly. So now being able to see China, go to California, I'm always a big proponent to my nieces and nephews and my family. Like, hey, get out, explore.
Yeah.
You got the opportunity and income, go ahead and do it while you can.
So you're trying some fresh seafood. Yeah,
we try it, and I told Justin, like, look, we're walking up Venice Beach. I said, look, I've seen all I can see. I'm walking in Timberlands. I like my Timberland boots. I had my Timberland boots on, and I had this big North Face hoodie. And I'm like, dude, I stand out like a sore thumb. I'm literally walking like I'm in Flint here. So the culture is different. It's a lot of people out there in the stalls and selling stuff. And so we kind of start getting a crowd of people like, who are they from? I look at my brother. I'm like, dude.
They think you're famous.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know where you got us, but you need to get us out of here. You're like, well, the place to say it's right behind us. And so we type in, it's called the Poke Shack. And we go in, there's about 700 square feet. And I'm like, what is this place? It's kind of ghetto. And you're like, no, man, let's just try it. I ate it, and I fell in love with it. And I'm like, dude, this is really good. At the time, it was only like $10. And I'm like, well, how don't we have anything fresh, affordable, and it's a full meal? Like, how don't we have anything like this in Flint? And he's like, this is nasty. He didn't like it. And I'm like, no, man, this is different. So we get our souvenirs. We head back to Airbnb. And then everybody's saying like, hey, did y'all go to In-N-Out Burger? We're like, no, we tried this place called Poke Shack. So that's all we would talk about. We get on a plane, we go home, we tell our mom, we don't want to have to go back to the usual chuck and grind. Like I had just started working as Secretary of State, but I'm like, man, this can't be life. And he was a culinary chef at Genesis at the time. So it was like we wanted to put our expertise together. Our first thought we wanted to do was a soul food restaurant. And we're like, man, we want to do something different in Flint. We want to do something that we could enrich the community, something different. And so my mom was like, we were debriefing with her, and she's like, why don't you do that Pokemon restaurant you were telling me about? We were like, Ma, this has nothing to do with Pokemon. We were like, but you might be onto something. And she was like, yeah.
Regina comes up again.
Yeah, she did.
In clutch.
She did. I'll give her props because she definitely did. And
she came up with the idea, but
did.
you had the idea of being an entrepreneur, a business owner. She dropped in the theme of food.
Yeah.
And then what happened next?
We looked up. Nobody had the name. Nobody had the name, the Poke Bowl. And she was like, you should call it the Poke Bowl. And we figured out later that you can't technically incorporate a name of that specific item.
Okay.
But that didn't stop us anyway. We were like, okay, we will just get the LLC.
Yeah.
And we looked up. Nobody had it. So we were like, why don't we go? We learned that we didn't need LegalZoom through the record label. So we just drove to Lansing, to Laura, paid the $60 or whatever, incorporated. And then it was like, okay, now we got to learn how to build a business.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And you went from there to you got the loan from the state and or from the feds.
So it's technically a federal loan, business loan.
Got it.
So once we were grinding, so it's like 2018, we did the groundbreaking, Habitat for Humanity.
I was there.
Yep. Dan Kildee.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
And so we had to figure out a way to still bring in revenue and income because the bills are still there. We still have to pay rent. And so we're like, okay, we can only grind out so long until we get our doors open. So this is about 2022. And we came across a lady by the name Tiffany Burnethy, and she works at Metro Community Development. And so they are like a nonprofit organization, but they handle government funding for mortgages, small businesses, things of that nature. And so she heard of our story, and sometimes and that's what we realize is that it takes somebody who's willing to go above and beyond in the role. A lot of times, if you're looking for a break, people just need a break. And a lot of times it takes one person that's going to get paid whether they do their job or not. But it's that person that's like, okay, I'm going to get paid regardless, but I'm going to do my job. I'm going to go a little further for them. I'm going to go a little further on my job because I can. And so that's
and give people that break.
Exactly. And so Tiffany Burnethy of Metro, it's like, hey, you guys have been grinding. I love what you're doing in the community. It would be excellent if we can show, hey, if you do everything that's asked of you, if you can check all the boxes, if you can get your credit right, get collateral, that there is opportunity and that there's hope. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I don't understand where is the disconnect in the funding. So we just told her, hey, this is what we're dealing with. We got decent to mediocre credit scores and no collateral. He's like, okay, I can make it work.
Took a chance.
She did. She took a chance.
How much did she loan?
Through the SBA, it was $40,000.
Okay.
$40,000. So, and it was like one of the things where we know restaurants are extremely risky business. Most fail. It's 8% profit margins in between. But it was like, man, if we can just get it going, and this would be almost like the home front, and then we would use this to train ourselves, get a food truck, and expand out. And that's what it's been doing. It was just once she's like, I want to take a chance. She made all our paperwork was there.
Yeah.
Because it was already there. It was kind of like, Regina Bush. She's just
sure.
And when we were little, I used to think it was extra. But as I got older, I'm like, man, we were kind of mentally trained and prepared for a lot of this stuff. My mom always got to CYA yourself, cover your ass. I don't know if that's, but it's like you always got to CYA yourself.
Yeah.
And so that's where we were like, it's gonna come time. We want to go to a bank or an angel investor. Let's start getting our credit right. Let's get everything right so we're ready for an ask. So we went with Tiffany that day, and she's like, so what do you need? And we're like, this will get us through. And she's like, okay, but what do you need? And we're like, well, it'll be good to have this much. So she's like, well, with no collateral or whatever, this is how much you can get, but work with me, keep a relationship with us, and I can help you get a grant that can leverage the pitfalls in the budget. So,
wow.
Yeah, and so between the grant and the money that we got from SBA, the loan, the business loan, is how we were able to open our doors for sure.
And so right now, you can go to the Poke Bowl in Flint.
Yes, you can.
And you can go on that corridor, and it's a beautiful restaurant. It's trendy, great food. People rave about it. You live upstairs.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yep.
Talk about the fact that you are invested in your business, literally, and you've been open for how long, and where have you come from to where you're going now?
Okay. So I live above the business. So it's part of a work-live program with Habitat for Humanity,
right.
Savannah. So it gives us an opportunity to live and invest in the same place that we work at. And so where I can't get away from it, but it's a double-edged sword. But because of the control and things that I have, we are able to play a dynamic role in what happens. So the service thing, people can most of the time always get good service. The product is always good because I'm there.
Yeah.
And I think like when I went to Asia, that was the future. They call them workhouses. And so everybody they would live upstairs and they would come down and they would work all day. And at the end of the night, they would bleach everything down and shut up shop again. And
wow.
So and that's what we're the premise with Habitat for Humanity, and it's working. It definitely is working.
So great job at U of M Flint to get you in there, to introduce you to the international studies program, to get you over to Thailand, to see this business idea, to just one thing leads to another. And that's how when you look back to someone's success, you think they're an overnight success, but they've been building that for 15, 20 years.
Yes.
How's business today?
Good. Definitely takes 10 years to be overnight success. That's our thing.
Yeah.
It takes consistency. We were just saying today that our return, so this time last year, our numbers are doubling what they were. And it's just because you have to keep going. You have to build a stable
become
base.
A force multiplier.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32. The more you double it, the faster it hockey sticks up.
So our numbers, how they work, and Square shows us the good recidivism. And so most of our customers are returning customers. And so we're just trying to get that mark of new customers to come in, because with the data showing, if we can get them through the door, they'll come back.
Yeah.
So it's just, again, I can't give enough kudos enough to Operation Arrowhead, because all in all, it's about making people feel that they can come spend money and they can do it safely. And
Arrowhead is a initiative that we've started about 3.5 years ago, 2022, where we took over the majority of the city, Flint patrol during high crime areas. And we just solve police problems, not just treat symptoms. Yep. And have you seen a difference since we started policing that way?
For sure. Community policing. So got to give a shout out to Dom Clemens, Genesee County clerk now, but at the time, commissioner.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, and he told me about how he was kind of like the layman when it came to the public-private partnership with I think Ridgeway White.
That's right, the Mott Foundation.
Yeah, and that's what it takes on a state level. It's going to these different regions and saying, hey, what public-private partners do we have? How can we make this work here, and how can we literally take this exactly formula and spread it throughout the state?
Because your business wouldn't be as successful or even successful at all if it wasn't safe.
Correct. So when I first moved in, 23, summer, and I'm up and I'm just geeked that we're in. I'm like, oh, we're finally in, and looking at my fiance, she's cooking and stuff. I got the music playing. I think I had Justin Bieber, Peaches playing. And I look out, and there's this guy walking. I can see him all the way down the street. I can see him coming up, and I watch him come all the way up. I'm like, okay. He walks, he looks around. I'm like, okay. He's looking a little bit shady, but that's okay. Then he walks, and he looks at our parking lot. And he just started canvassing the parking lot. Mind you, this is 2:30 during the day. And so I just, I don't pay any attention to it, because I think he's going to keep straight down the road on Frost. But he ends up, I'm like, wait, he's not down the street. And then I go to my other window, look down, he's in my truck.
Oh, my God.
And I remember I had text you right after. I'm like, what? Like, what? So I'm like, I don't think he's armed, but it's like that was the type of brazen acts where people are used to doing it. It's like, okay, clearly I've done this before.
Right.
I'm just looking for a quick thing to change. He hopped in my car. So I go out there and I confront him, like, listen, man, things are changing here. I got my family here. I'm trying to run a business. This got to stop. And then so he's like, I understand things of that nature. I'm like, this could have went way differently had we had different mindsets, in the time where everyone's armed and tensions are high. And so after that, though, I would say that's the last actual incident. And then after Operation Arrowhead, nothing like that. 'Cause that's just what it is. More people on the bikes, e-bikes, and things of that nature going. Yeah, so
it takes a holistic approach to make businesses a success.
It does.
And it goes back to that giving people a break. Those small businesses need a break, and they need to have other people looking out for them. So you grew up the way you grew up, and you had a great example with your mom. You've traveled, abroad. You came back, started a business. You broke barriers as a minority business owner. You wanted to do something that's great for not only your family, but for society. I mean, you could have gone to another community and opened up. You could have gone to Grand Blanc.
Fenton was actually the initial thought.
Yeah.
Once we won the Freedom Center's the Shark Tank competition.
Sure.
And so the initial thought was like, hey, can we get all of you to invest in a food truck, and we would just park somewhere in Fenton, because we'd be like, easy money. The income disparities are different. But it was just the way God manifested it. I'm like, yeah, we might be able to make money hand over fist there quickly, but I'm like, maybe we can go in the city, invest, and kind of just build,
Proud
and
of you,
then
man.
go out.
Proud of you. Hey, we're coming to the tail end, man. This is the Working Class Podcast. It's people that get up every day, just like you, just like me, and everybody listening, just grind it out. And highs and lows, they're both temporary. How do you get past your lows?
Looking at what really matters. Coming from small business background now, what I value, time is the most important. The lows is looking around now in this economy. If everything is paid, rent, electricity, business loans, employees are paid, and you got your family around, that's it. Before I had I got my daughter, and I got custody of my niece. But being older now in my 30s, that's what I value. And it's when I'm like feeling down or things are not hitting how I would like in my personal career or whatever. Yeah. It's like, okay, we literally were able to make it out of nothing. We are making it somewhere where people say that you can't do it at. So me and my brother always look at each other like, okay, if you can make it here how we're doing with each other, we can make it anywhere. And so we always like prime opportunity to people, give them a chance to mess up. At least you can say, hey, we gave you opportunity. But opportunities like ours, we always look at, hey, it could be way worse, and we look at where we came from.
Do you think we're better off as a society when it comes to race relations than we were back in, when we grew up in the 80s and 90s?
I do think overall, yes. And that's because of social media, in my belief. I think people are able to be exposed to the way other cultures live their lives and how they perceive their daily activities. And people are starting to realize that we have way more in common than we do apart.
That's right.
And so in my belief, personally, I think that race relations are getting better, in my opinion. We still got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But I think we could use tools like technology, conversations like we have in here, open forums, and it'll continue to break down those barriers. Yeah. And because it's easy to say and perpetuate negative stereotypes, things of that nature. But once you are exposed and you see the truth and you see how people really live, it's like, man, for the most part, we all really want the same things in life. Safe place to raise our kids, a stable job, and a community somewhere that we can chill and just listen, talk to people and be listened to.
Yeah, listen to Justin Bieber.
So it was Peaches. That'll
be the theme music for this episode. I will tell you what you just explained is why I wear this shirt called Let's Walk. This is a moment that we showed the world that you can't solve everything at one moment, but you can take the step in the right direction to start solving it. Sure. And man, I would encourage everybody out there to be intentional on building a relationship with somebody who doesn't look like you, live where you live, believe the way you believe. Somebody who you thought was an enemy just because you were taught that way. Go ask questions. Go talk to people and get their perspective. We talk all the time between perception and perspective. Perception is what I think the truth is. Perspective is I want to talk to Jeron and hear what he has to say.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because it's one of the things with networking and community.
Yeah.
Without that, we wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
The Poke Bowl, it was literally based off community, networking, and partnership because there's a bunch of different people sharing a little bit of the burden to where we don't feel anything at all. Yeah. And that's what it boils down to. And it's like, we have to figure out a way spiritually, sometimes economically, to share the burden. And because a lot of times, especially in small business, people just need a break. It's like, we're feeling like we're getting taxed here. Energy costs are through the roof. Cost of goods are through the roof. So it's just like sometimes just a break, whether it's a lax on now this is more technical, like sales, lax on sales tax or a county tax was a form of health department,
right?
But it all boils
a little
down.
bit of break,
yeah, exactly.
Just give it a little
break
relief.
Somewhere, yeah.
Right.
And I think that's what
I'm
most
working
people,
on it, brother.
Okay.
I'm working on it,
and just that's what people are. That's what people are like.
Yeah.
So they're like, hey, even if I might not be completely struggling to where I can afford, where I qualify for food stamps, and I might not make enough to where I could pay all my medical bills, but I just need something. And so that's where a lot of people are, I think, homeostasis at, like, man, most people just need a break.
My goal is to save every family that's hard working, a couple, $200, $300, $400 a month, just that little bit of space, that's $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a year. Imagine what you can do with a little bit of extra leeway there, just whether it's less cost or give you an opportunity to make a little bit more. But when you're working 2 and 3 jobs like you have done and many out there listening, and then you can't get ahead because as much as you make, the costs go up. And it's like, more money, more problems.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we're grinding out. That's why.
You probably didn't know I knew that song.
That's why I'm always like peace and blessings to anyone.
We don't want to get into the Biggie Tupac conversation. That could go for another
man,
2 hours.
You had this thing going crazy.
Right.
And I had my pick, but yeah, it's all about knowing that we're for the most part we're all going through it, and it's like whether a lot of people that I know they're just making it.
That's right.
And it's just like
it's not enough, man. You can't just make it in life. Life was meant to be more.
Exactly. So I think just with you and I know that given the opportunity, where there's like, and I got to commend Dana Nessel for stopping that 13% increase on energy.
That's right.
Because those little things like that count.
That's right.
And with the SNAP benefits, because at the end of the day, that's another, it's not a tax, but it's one of the things that were monthly is taken out.
That's
and
it.
So
it's a big deal to the majority of the people.
It is. We have to, even just in our restaurant, we have to figure a way how we can conserve because of the energy costs.
Yeah.
So it's like, and we only have a little 800 by 800 square feet spot.
Yeah. Well, there's going to be a day in about 392 days where I put a 6-month moratorium on all increases in energy until we get a game plan. What are people paying for that it's actually working? Are they getting the value? Like, stop. No more additional costs. By the stroke of a pen, that's happening.
Wow.
Brother.
See, and that's what it takes.
That's it. Let's just get our feet on the ground because everybody's paying energy. We're paying it right here in the studio. But you can't escape it. You need it, but you also shouldn't be taken advantage of.
Oh, 100%.
All right, man, we're going to close this out with some fireball questions, okay? So just one after the other. First thing that comes to your mind, man. What's your favorite movie of all time?
Oh, man. I would Rush Hour 2. That's one of my favorites.
Chris Tucker is the funniest dude
ever. They're
ever.
working on number 4 now. So.
Are they really?
Yep.
I just realized that Jackie Chan's a billionaire. I didn't know that.
Really?
Yeah, he's a billionaire. He's right behind Tom Cruise.
What?
Yes, Jackie Chan. At least that's what the reel showed.
Oh,
you know who's one of the wealthiest?
Huh?
Besides Tyler Perry?
Who?
Oh my gosh. Tyler Perry and Tyler Perry's up in the billions.
Yeah, because that's another thing. Because he has he got his own studio.
Yeah.
So I would love for Michigan to be a player on that stage. Where we can bring those type of
100%.
Yeah.
Become the entertainment capital. Las Vegas 2.0. Los Angeles 2.0.
Yeah.
Hollywood 2.0.
I agree.
Yeah, and when you do that, people build the economy. All right, Rush Hour 2.
Yeah, I know,
man.
right.
There we go.
Yeah, Rush Hour
2.
Yeah.
All right, who's your favorite? You can't say Justin Bieber because we'd mentioned that twice already. No. Favorite sit back, chill music of all time. And you want to see him in concert.
I have yet to go to a real concert yet.
Oh, ever?
Ever.
Oh, my gosh.
So I got to do that. Oh, God. See him in concert.
Alive or dead, it doesn't matter.
Dang, alive or dead? No. Alive or dead? I do like, I'm a big fan of Young Dolph.
Wow.
I like Young Dolph. But I like all type of music, but I like old school. I like alternative, like Coldplay, System of a Down. I like
you do, man. You got a wide swath.
Yeah, but I do. Young Dolph is like when he was like really into the community and he would give back, and I was like, oh, okay. So I do like. His
so you
music.
love his story and his music.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. All right.
Exactly.
Favorite food of all time?
Oh man, I had to say, I love smoked salmon, smoked salmon and crab legs.
Really? You're a seafood dude.
Yeah.
Got it, man.
Steak too. You can't beat a steak.
No, I'm not a steak guy. Nope. I'd rather have a good pizza than a good steak. Honestly,
really?
Yes.
Wait,
yeah.
So what's your favorite food?
I mean, like I was gonna have my last meal.
Yeah.
Oh, Jets Pizza, chocolate chip cookies, 2% milk, and Frito scoops.
What?
Yes, I could eat that all day long.
Jets Pizza.
Jets Pizza, extra sauce. Yeah, it's got 4 squares.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Pizza is by far my favorite food. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, I can't go as far as like gas station pizza.
That.
But honestly, if I went, they're like, hey, we're going to a 5-star restaurant. You know, you paid $95 for a 3-ounce piece of steak. I'm like, I could get 4 Jets meals out of that.
All right.
Yeah.
No, I mess with Jets. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah,
and I love chocolate chip cookies. I love oatmeal raisin cookies. But man, the Frito scoops, golly, I don't know what they put in them.
I can
kind
of see that. I'm kind of with the scoops. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't eat just one.
I agree.
And when I go all in. What?
I eat them plain. Like I don't dip.
Yeah,
them
you
in
don't
them.
need a dip.
Yeah, okay.
And not even the little Fritos, the Frito scoops.
Yeah, the
There you go.
boat.
Yeah, that's it. All right, you're on the stage in front of the entire country,
Okay.
and they're all looking at you, and you got 30 seconds to give them a message.
Okay.
My message is let's walk. And I'm talking to everybody out there, but now the camera looks to you. It says, Jeron Dotson, speak to the country. What would you tell to everybody watching? And you got 30 seconds.
Yeah, I would tell them, don't overthink, don't second guess, just do it.
And that's the Working Class Podcast.